Barry Allen. I am the fastest man alive.
Hi everybody, how are we all doing? I hope having a good week so far. So today is Wednesday the 11th of February 2015. We are back with a new episode of The Flash titled The Nuclear Man. Obviously it's all about Firestorm. And I have to say, I was quite intrigued with a couple of things that went on in this episode. Joe West and Cisco, unbeknownst to Cisco that is, decide to investigate further into the death of Nora Allen because obviously, as we remember, Cisco said that there were two speedsters present when one Nora Allen was murdered, and they set up a lovely little get-up, it's some, a little device of some sort to find out what actually happened. Because when Joe and Cisco go back to Barry's former house, the door is answered by a MILF. I'm only going to describe her as a MILF. And there's even one point where Cisco says to Joe, "I won't judge you." I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to judge Joe West if he went down that route. But no, when Cisco eventually is scanning the whole house for any sort of like residue that may have been left by the speedsters at the time, he couldn't find anything until they see a mirror, and pretty much that mirror had some sort of particles behind it, and that's what allowed Cisco to then create a three-dimensional holographic image of what happened. But I have to say, I'll tell you what, the revelation, I think I might have theorised that revelation in a previous review. I can't remember which episode it would have been, but I know that I did theorise the revelation of one of the speedsters. Yeah, so that was very interesting. That was interesting. Anyway, on to the real reason for this episode, Firestorm. Obviously, Ronnie Raymond and Professor Martin Stein been fused, transmutated together, all thanks again to the particle accelerator. We find out that Barry was actually on a train coming back from Starling City, I believe, when also Professor Stein was also on the same train, and on the day that the particle accelerator decided to have a hissy fit. And what was interesting is the Firestorm matrix that Martin Stein had in his possession at the time, and that obviously when the explosion happened, Ronnie Raymond was stuck in the particle accelerator. He gets blown out of there, fuses with Professor Martin Stein, and then there we have Firestorm. But did I not realise that actually, even though it's Ronnie's body, both of them are in Ronnie's body. So it's Martin Stein's mind that is more present. That is the mind of Martin Stein, the body of Ronnie Raymond, basically is what we've gotten. And it's quite interesting because when Harrison and Caitlin and Barry are all investigating, what's happened to Ronnie and obviously Martin, we then find that Martin has actually been going back to his house, to his wife in particular, and it's obviously one of those things whereby it's always, you always end up going back home. No matter where you've been, you will always end up going back home. And Ronnie and Caitlin and Harrison were staking out the house because they knew that eventually Martin was going to come back to the house. When he does, they call the Flash, and then it all goes interesting from there. But at the same time, young Barry, I've got to talk about Barry right now. He and Linda, they went on their first date. It was good. They went on the second date. It was interrupted. They were going to go on a third date, and Iris decided to step her foot in it. I wasn't happy about that, because the reason why I wasn't happy about that is because she's clearly jealous of Linda. She is immensely jealous of Linda, and you can tell. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, darling. You had your chance to be with him. He then tells you, confesses to you that he loves you, but you still move in with Eddie. You know, but now that he's dating someone, you don't want him to date someone, but yet you won't date him yourself. It's one of those one of those interesting situations. It's like, well, I don't want to date you, but I don't want you dating anyone else because I know you love me, and you'll do anything for me. This, that, and the other. It's like, well, seriously, soap opera moment. Get off the box, darling. Let him be his own person. Let him be happy. He's happy with Linda. He's enjoying Linda's company. Don't get in the way. And I just was not happy about Linda doing that. Iris doing that at all. I thought it was really unfair and very selfish of her to a degree. You know, yeah, she might have said to Barry, "Oh, well, no, I wasn't doing it. I didn't tell her that you were hung up on me." But it's not like as if Linda couldn't put two and two together. You know, so when Iris kind of realised the error of her ways, she did apologise to Barry about it. But I thought to myself, oh, I hope the damage isn't done. But Barry proved himself to Linda, and he's got his third date, so I'm happy for that. And I mean, I'm not saying that the relationship between Linda and Barry is going to last. Probably won't, because we already know that Iris and Barry are pretty much destined to be together anyway. But that's not to say that the guy can't have, you know, he can't at least date someone at the moment, can he? Let him have some fun. Let him be himself. Let him date whoever he wants. Yes, he might still be in love with Iris, but he's got to bottle those feelings away and just move on. That's all he can do. He has to move on. I've been in that situation myself, to be fair. So yeah, he just has to move on. But like I say, the episode overall was pretty good. The ending was very surprising, and especially the bit after as well. It's amazing just how this show is just doing so well, and it's fabulous. I love the Flash. I really do love the Flash, and the show is just doing so well. It is amazing. There was an interesting little nod, as I'm going to put it, to one Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. Just as the Flash was about to confront Firestorm, he's like, "Look, I'm not going to hurt you. Just, you know, just don't." And then suddenly, he gets fired up, and then Barry just says, "Don't flame on." I was like, very good. So to the crew and the writers for that one, good touch. Good touch. I hope Marvel doesn't mind. Let's hope you don't get some sort of subpoena or you know, something like that heading your way, people. A cease and desist order or anything like that. So, but yeah, no, that was a pretty good nod. I was quite impressed with that. But yeah, I think that's about it really. Not much else to really say on the episode. What else is there? Yeah, going back to the whole Joe West and Cisco thing, you know, investigating the death of Nora Allen, there was a bit of friction between them, you know, when Cisco found out the real reason why Joe West was investigating this murder case. He wasn't happy about it, but that's not to say he didn't go along with what Joe had asked of him to do. And then when he revealed to Joe what he had found, like I said earlier in the video, I theorised who we think one of the speedsters is, and it was confirmed in this episode. But it does beg the question: why? And when I ask that question, I go back to the Flashpoint comic book. If you haven't read it, you've got to read it. It was pretty much the reason why the DC Universe got relaunched to the New 52 back in 2011. But if you haven't read Flashpoint, I suggest you do. And then when you've read it, watch the animated film Flashpoint, you know, Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox, something like that I believe it's called. But yeah, it took me back to Flashpoint as to those two speedsters having whatever was going on. And then I look now to the show and I think, right. So I was at the gym last night. Was it last night or the night before? I think it was Monday actually. And I was talking to a couple of friends of mine, and one of them actually told me what was the theory behind Harrison Wells and how he could potentially be the Reverse Flash. Now, stay with me on this one. This is where it's going to get tricky. Okay. He theorized, or was told from another source, that Harrison Wells is from the future, and in the present day he's stuck in a time loop, in essence. That he's trying to, because obviously in the pilot, at the end of the pilot, we saw the newspaper from 2024, okay, regarding, Flash has gone missing in the crisis, this, that and the other. That Harrison is from that future. He's come back to now, or to the time that when Nora was killed, and has created or designed and built the particle accelerator as a means to go back to the future. Because he has no other way of doing it, because he's stuck in a time loop. He's got the Reverse Flash suit, he's got the Reverse Flash ring, he's now got the tachyon device. Are these the tools and instruments that he needs to get back to where he is originally from? I don't know, but that's a theory. If anybody else wants to add to that, please, by all means do. Just let me know what you think of that. But could he be stuck in a time loop? How else would he have chosen or wanted for Barry to become the Flash? Yeah. It makes you think, doesn't it? It really does. It really does make you think. And that's an interesting theory, and I never ever would have guessed that. Now, let's not forget, there is a future episode coming up in The Flash that does have time travel. So, interesting times ahead. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Sorry if I've rambled a bit for you guys, but anyway. But think about it. Think about it. Just think about that theory. That'd be interesting, though. Stuck in a time loop. And it's not like as if we haven't had comic book stories that have been of that sort of theory, where someone's been stuck in a time loop and they're trying to get back to a period of where they were previously, but they haven't got the means or the technology to do that. Yeah, that's very interesting. Very interesting. Thanks a lot for that one, Dean. Thanks a lot. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all very much for watching. See you all very soon. Bye.